Welcome back to another Shadowverse gameplay video. Today we're going to be playing Aggro Sword. Not blood, but sword. Let's go into the lobby. Look for a game. You can see the deck list on the side, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But basically, 10 one-drops and a bunch of random things. But no, I've been not facing a lot of Swordcraft in these videos or in my own play, so I decided, why not step into the arena and play Swordcraft myself? I mean, it's the only winning matchup, it's the only deck with a a positive win percentage against PDK, my least favorite deck in the format, so why not give it a shot? No liches will be played in this match, I predict. Come on, face sword, face sword, face sword. Oh my lord. It's a Shadowcraft player and I said there'd be no liches. Well, there better be no liches. Please, please, please. What a hand. I think Palace Fencer is not the greatest against Shadow, but I mean... Oh my god. Perseus, why? Oh my lord. It had to be Perseus. They're trolling me with triple commander. I'm running 2 Perseus, 2 Ninja Training just for this situation. That's because I knew there'd be a point where, like, sometimes I want them to be officers, sometimes I want them to be commander for the Centaur Vanguard. It's just like, why, man? Why? Okay, well, I mean, I got something, I guess. I mean, got triple one-drop, but we're just gonna get wrecked by the Soul Squasher just at face value. Like, why? Lurching Corpse. Oh boy. I lost. Soul Conversion. Oh boy. I love Perseus. I don't know why these deck lists. Oh boy, brainless. I'll lead the charge. Brainless sword player playing brainless cards. Whatever. I don't know if that's the actual play, but we're not looking great here. Opponents had some nice trades into our followers. Have not been able to buff. Oh my god! Like I was looking at the NG Shadowverse, not NG, the JCG Japanese Open results. And all that the guys had triple Perseus. I'm like, why would you ever run triple Perseus in this case? This is a little interesting. Maybe it isn't though. Yeah, I guess it is. Like, it's a little interesting. Basically, the Palace Fencer may or may not get in that. In this type of. In this type of matchup, I think every damage counts, right? So it may or may not get in the 1 point of damage, but giving our opponents a really efficient trade, like if we didn't evolve this, which I guess we could still evolve that, but giving our opponents an efficient trade, we definitely have to evolve that. Yeah, maybe pay on Palace Fencer was fine. Androlphus is not the card you want to see here. Opponent's drawing a lot of cards. Ooh, that's bad. My mission is complete. We're together forever. I mean, we are face sword, so I mean, we could always pull out something. Man, what are these draws? Like, my sword opponents never draw this bad. Like, come on, man. Like, if we had a better draw this game, we would have already won. Like, what a game. What a day to be playing sword too. Like, come on, man. Womp womp, basically. I mean, at least if our opponent played Soul Squasher last turn, there's no like awesome Death's Breath that they can play. But our opponent's just gonna be drawing a million cards, so it's just bad news bears overall. Like, what a day to be playing Shadowverse. Swordcraft drawing poorly, like what is this? Like, honestly, if we led with the Vanguard turn 1 instead of Perseus, like or even like Quick Blader or like if we let, you know, ninja trainee too, like, we've been in a great position compared to that, but now we're just dying to everything. Gonna have to get a bit lucky here. Opponents it seems like they're the Atomeme deck. Council is fine here, I guess.
Her Royal Majesty is impatient.
I think it's fine to evolve here.
All ends here.
This won't end well for you. Here goes.
Our hand's still really bad. I don't foresee us winning this game. If our opponent plays Kawi, they don't play a way to gain life, then maybe we have a shot. But I mean, it looks like they're playing Atomeme, so. But maybe not. Like, maybe Staircase is just like a great card in Shadow because your follower is always dying. So I never actually thought about that. Don't tell me he's got the third Soul Squasher. That would be a little terrible for us. Oh man, he had the Soul Conversion, jeez. Guess he's gone through half his deck, so. I mean, we have a couple lethal draws off the top, so I mean, we just kind of hope to draw. Maybe, you know, I think it's like 5 out of 30, probably lethal draws off the top, so. Yeah, that's pretty good odds, right? So we have 2 Novice Troopers, Roundtable Assembly, and 2 Alberts, and an Elwidas, so, you know, 6 out of 30, I mean, 20%. What? 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 Oh my god. So I okay there.
The pleasure was all mine.
Okay, well, we'll take that, that's a free, 219 point swing. Why not? So if we lost there, I think we would have lost 70, maybe not though. Probably lost 70, and we did actually gain 149. I mean, there's a high chance we could have won, if not on that turn, but the next turn. I mean, having 2 draws at lethal would have given us at least probably a 50% chance if our opponent didn't gain any life, because it probably would have taken them at least 2 more turns to kill us. So I can see our opponent doing that play. Oh, and the face sword mirror matchup. Well, I'm assuming it is. Ninja Trainee, how good is that? I think we need like some sort of like, yeah, some sort of pump cards. You know, we want some of these 2 play point cards like the Palace Fencer and the Princess Vanguards of the world. We'll see what our opponent plays. Ugh, Vanguard. Okay. So yeah, in this case. And now I'm preferring, I would have preferred the Perseus, but I draw the Ninja Trainee, like, what is this life? The opponent, you know, just plays the Princess Vanguard. Pretty standard play there. I mean, I think the play certainly is to play the Princess Vanguard here. Because Palace Fencer just dies to this for free. And then the next turn is, you know, there's some interesting options on the next turn. We have, you know, a couple, you know, decent lines to play, which is nice. Our opponent is, you know, aggroing us out. I don't really like to play the control role in these types of matchups. I think you probably do have to play the control role though, so. I don't really like using the Taji here, but I think it's the correct play. So I think we're just going to develop a couple things onto the board. I'm going to put the 1 damage to the face here. We're going to be able to, like, it's possible we want to put it onto this. Ephemera, you know, that's one of the reasons why.
You can get this one.
13 life, Leaves is probably dead in 2 turns, which is not nice. We draw our own Ephemera? Huh. Okay, that's actually interesting. We can actually go Centaur Vanguard. I don't really like playing the Ephemera there, because I feel like I do want to be pushing damage towards the face. It is important to have, you know, to race back a little bit. You know, our opponent took a turn off. We're gonna try and punish them a little bit. If they play Council, we're like, oh man. That play does not play around Council of Card Knights, unfortunately. That was the card we did not play around. There we're looking, you know, looking at more at like Albert, but I still think we're in a possibly okay situation here. The 1/3 horde's gonna be really annoying actually. Yeah, I guess it's possible we could have played the Ephemera, like basically like the Centaur Vanguard. But let's say if we played the Ephemera last turn, like what are we really doing? Like, are we gonna evolve the Ephemera to trade into their the guy? What was the guy? Are we really gonna play Ephemera to trade into their Princess Vanguard? I don't know if we can really do that. And I do want to strip the commanders off the opponent's board for their own Centaur Vanguard. So, I mean, our opponent is thinking a little bit. I mean, which is as a sword player playing first, I think there's less decisions to make. I think most of the time you do have to be the aggressor in the matchup, so you can't really go for too many value trades necessarily. Well, that's what?
This won't end well for you.
That's a little interesting. The opponent's deciding to go like a lot of face. I mean, it ends up working out for opponent.
Follow my lead.
Your Majesty.
Centaur thrust. Well enough.
I mean, this is certainly the play, but unfortunately, like the 5 health is kind of annoying to deal with. So we're dead. If I don't kill this, to choose to evolve with this, we can deal 3 to our opponent. I think that might be better. The alternative is to deal 1, 2, 3, 4. We could deal 8 to the opponent, but I think we're just gonna go with this. We're actually gonna trade out here.
Your Majesty.
So we traded the Juliet here. It's a little worse if our opponent decides to trade the Ephemera into our Centaur Vanguard. But otherwise, I guess this is... actually, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So our whole board is actually commanders. So if we draw like exactly Palace Fencer, it's going to be pretty good on the Centaur Vanguard if it lives. Which is a little consideration. And since we already have 3 commanders, and the least valuable follower on our field is actually Princess Vanguard. So this is most likely to be the card that lives if our opponent can take out 3 followers. Opponent's thinking really hard here. I don't know. Like last turn. Okay. Oh.
You can get this one.
Last turn, I would have said the Council of Card Knights looked like a pretty comfortable play. Like on turn 5, it's really hard. It's hard to justify, you know, not playing Council of Card Knights. Is what I'm getting at. Ugh, Oathless Knight. Jeez. Let's see. That's gonna be an annoying card. That's also a little annoying.
Me,
The best draw here would probably be our own Council of Card Knights would be very nice here, I think. Our opponent is going to take that Ephemera trade, which I'm fine with here. Vanguard is certainly the worst draw we can have.
Here's how it's done. I'm beat.
I'll lead the charge.
Fun employment.
That was not a good draw for us.
It all ends here.
I mean, this is basically a top deck where I don't know what our opponent kept in hand.
You won't escape that. Time to
But,
shine.
I mean, if we can get a good top deck, we can still win. And if our opponent's cards are bad, I mean, we can still win, but... Our opponent has, you know, drawn overall better cards than us this game, I would say. So... They're gonna do some value trade there. Yeah, that's not the card we want to see, definitely. I am playing one copy of this in Konochi Master in the deck. I think it's... What is this luck, man?
Here's how it's done. You can get this one. I'm not slacking.
I'll lead the charge.
I think going all face has to be the play here. I mean... Our opponent could have like 2 extra damage, but it just...
Apologies.
Yeah, you better freaking apologize, man. Like, something like that
Is a treacherous rat.
is just like... Yeah, our opponent definitely drew better than us. I think the person playing second may have like a decent chance. The only play that I would have made differently maybe is the ephemera play. So instead of the Palace Fencer, maybe we could have gone for a ephemera route. It would have made our play against Council of Card Knights a little better. Our 4 attack guy could have traded in. But honestly, what can you really do? Like, it was a pretty long game compared to, you know, like what people are saying. You know, I definitely tanked a little there. I mean, I think it's one of the more intricate matchups. Aggro v aggro. Maybe it isn't though. Maybe just overthinking it. But like, you know, aggro v aggro, you're kind of like, well, yeah, when am I gonna trade? If it's, you know, PDK versus PDK, it's like, oh well, who drew the better cards?
You
I mean,
must die.
right? This is gonna be blood, right? Okay, blood. Ephemera's good against blood. Like, that's just the bottom line. Blood really doesn't have a way to get rid of it except for Revelation. But I think we're just gonna go for a better early game. Not the greatest. Also, I mean, playing I don't know, have we played first this video? I don't think we've actually played first, which is kind of one of the power, you know.
I'll lead the charge.
So I decided to play the Vanguard there. I think playing Taji, like, against Blood, the 1 damage here and there doesn't really matter in, like, the first couple turns. But if our opponent was to play, like, a Spiderweb Imp, Vanguard is certainly better against that. And also, I mean, keeping Taji in hand is actually, like, if your opponent, like, is hitting themselves for a little bit, like, the 1 point of burst, like, just on any point in the curve can be really powerful. Our opponent can't expect, and if we get like an ephemera somewhere, like, we're just in a pretty good situation. Our opponent seems to be playing Control-y Blood, I think.
Time to shine. Follow my lead.
The battlefield awaits. Onward ho!
Interesting. Our opponent did not play Blood Moon or anything. If our opponent plays a Belphegor here, that would be pretty funny, actually. But like, that's the only thing I can imagine our opponent really playing, right? Urius.
For now.
What the heck? Our opponent's hand is that bad? Huh. So we have some options here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I think that's just a play, right?
Battlefield awaits.
Gonna take a little bit of damage to the face, but direct it all to the face. I mean, that's face is the place. Am I right? Am I right?
Time to shine.
It is very possible our opponent has Diabolic Drains, which would be probably the worst type of card, like the worst cards for us to see here. But like, I think the worst case scenario is Diabolic Drain into Revelation, but or maybe Diabolic Drain to some sort of Hungering Horde, but I don't think you would have Hungering Horde in this situation, right? Yeah, I mean, a bunch of Diabolic Drains is really annoying, but 3 Diabolic Drains. Okay, well, that was I was not expecting. I don't know if you can really expect 3 Diabolic Drains out of your opponent. That's kind of, you know, a little speculative there.
Her Royal Majesty is impatient.
I am gonna go for the actually, I could choose to go with the 3/5 on here instead of the Bane one because this naturally trades with it.
Follow my lead.
Here comes cruel end.
Our opponent does not have a lot of cards in hand. I mean, I believe they're playing control, but I actually have no idea. Like the double Mask of the Black Death are kind of okay. That's fine for us. I mean, they're out of Diabolic Drain, so we certainly do not have to play around that card anymore. Looking at this, in this case, never mind. I was gonna say, but if our opponent didn't have removal there, and the only play they had would be to evolve a Balfour, we would have actually had lethal. In this case, we don't, but it's interesting to note. I don't think like Blood can produce 8 points of burst. Like, how are they supposed to do that? Honestly. 8 points of burst on turn 7. I mean, they can play Emerald, but there's no evolve. Like, Razory Claw, Razory Claw. Okay.
Follow my lead.
I mean, maybe we might as well go for the face. Face has to be the place. Like I always say.
Well for you.
Follow my lead.
Put our opponent down to 5. I mean, if our opponent revs here, like yeah, good for them. Like, if they have the revelation here, then they have the revelation. Try to win, but okay. Okay, that's also kind of annoying. I mean, I'm still not like I'm still satisfied, you know, keeping the Belphegors alive or whatever. Wouldn't have changed my play, but we're kind of in an interesting case. I mean, like, literally, my opponent did have to have, like, that triple Diabolic Drain to really punish us there. But, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense a little that our opponent might have that. Council of Card Knights, okay. So we can trade in here, trade in there. Trade in there, we get to keep these two. If we trade here, I think it's the same.
Freeze! Ugh, wish I tried harder.
Follow my lead.
Here's how it's done.
My mission is complete.
Yeah, I do want to. I do like in general going for that sort of play. Getting these 2 cards a little worse. It's basically saving 1 health if our opponent's play is like a Hungering Horde plus something else. I'm gonna be able to keep 1 life on this, which is pretty nice. Blood-fed Flower Bed, okay. Okay, as well. There's the Razory Claw, which I guess putting our opponent at 5 on the turn that we did, which was last turn, or the turn, yeah, turn 6, actually made it so the only lethal that they had was Razory Claw, Blood Wolf, exactly. Putting them at 5 makes it so they can't actually play that. But we do have a win there against some sort of weird Jormungand Blood or something, I don't know. But hope everyone enjoyed. The game's actually lasted a pretty long time. I actually tanked on this deck a lot more than other decks, which is kind of interesting because if you think about Sword, they have a lot of like play to them, like the decks, because you have 1, 2s, and 3s, a lot of them. Whereas like if you're playing a control deck like Blood or something, or like last video I was playing Rune. When you have larger spell count, play point spells, it's harder. There's less lines you can actually take. And maybe I was actually overthinking some of these lines, but I hope you all enjoyed. Maybe you didn't because it was Face Sword, but you know, I did. Gotta play it sometimes, right? And I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and see you guys later.